Joining us this evening is Mr. Lekwalo Leta Mosienyane, an architect, urban designer, and arbitrator, and also a director of Mosienyane and Partners International. Mr. Mosienyane, welcome to First Issues.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Mosienyane, why do you think that few Botswana are taking up business opportunities outside the country?
One is, when you see business people in other countries, they're in those countries because they're catapulted from their countries. If you come from China to Botswana, you'd find that you have actually come here with the backing of your country. I'm not saying the backing of your government, I said the backing of your country. It could be the banks in your country that introduce you to other banks in Botswana or other countries. It could be the foreign mission and so on. I mean, does a Botswana live here to go and try business in London and expect the embassy to receive and create opportunities for that Botswana and so on? I'm quite aware that the business fraternity in Botswana, the government are talking now and trying to ensure that Botswana can go out there and expect to be welcome, to be catapulted by their own environment at home and into these countries. That is the one problem. We do have other problems. One of the problems that I have experienced and other Botswana talk about is that of our business, our business culture in Botswana. There's a serious conflict between our humility and the idea of business.
Please clarify.
Yes. For instance, take the humility that we have as Botswana. Our culture of humility, a Botswana with 1,000 cattle still talks about dinamanyane tsametse pedi, and so on. It's the humbleness, and so there's nothing wrong with it. We should learn to package that. Similarly, you look at the Japanese with their culture. They still bow to greet and so on. But they understand that when it comes to business, it's about taking risks and getting the reward from the risk that you've put in. And there's a level of aggression and so on. We should actually package this and produce a Botswana brand of business. When you go to a new country, you want to see your champions. You know, I'm doing some work in Ghana, I'm doing some work in Nigeria, jointly with my South African counterparts. And when we go there, you see MTN, you see all these big South African brands. It welcomes you, say you are a South African. I want to go there and see BMC. We do have those champions. We have our BMCs. We have our various companies. You have your Depswanas, you have your BCLs, you have your vaccine institutes and so on. These are champions. These are Botswana champions. I'm very proud to say they are there. By and large, these are government. I'm saying if Botswana Vaccine Institute is so successful, and for so long as foot and mouth is still rife, why am I not seeing this institute in Ghana? These are the things that welcome you.
How do we celebrate success?
The way we do it is really quite pathetic. Like, for instance, let's take Lekwalo. That was a tour de force for this country. I would like to see a monument to her. We don't have our own Statue of Liberty. Maybe we should have Mpule statue. Let's celebrate it. Let us say it's a good thing to do that. It makes us feel good. When you walk past that statue, when you see apparel in shops showcased by Mpule, hey, let's hang our diamonds on her neck. Let's adorn her with our own, but that's a double kill on that one. You see, I want to see us celebrating Mpule to that extent. I want us to say, listen, we are about this.
Mosienyane, give us an example of how other countries endorse their entrepreneurs who venture outside their country.
Yeah. That question begs for examples, really. And what comes to mind is I remember when, I shan't mention the African country that I'm going to talk about, when MTN were being levied very, very, very highly, to the point that they were about to lose their license in one of the African countries. And the president, the then president, Rembeki, jumped in, went in, talked to the president of the country and talked to the business and so on, and literally went to the country and negotiated on behalf of that flagship. And that's how they do it. If you look at, for instance, let me give you an example. In Botswana, let's say we're going to build a big building, or we're going to invest, or we're talking about privatizing some of our icons. We are known to go to other countries and ask business in other countries to come and find partners in Botswana, to partner with Botswana to do that business. Immediately, the Botswana is starting from the wrong foot, because it is the outsider coming in and identifying the Botswana as the smaller partner. In other countries, in South Africa, for instance, you will identify business in South Africa and say, go and find partners outside. So you are negotiating from a position of strength. This which I'm describing happens in buildings, in any form of business in Botswana. And this is where we talk about open economy, and we seem to be saying it's open without any limits or controls. And those are some of the things that come to mind when we talk about these things.
It seems like it would be very challenging because of the little support that the country provides to Botswana. What would it take for a Botswana business person or entrepreneur to make it outside the country?
Any community is made of a collective of individuals. That individual must, I said when we started, that you must be catapulted by your own environment back at home. It must be an environment that is willing. In other words, as an individual, I'm almost scared that if I leave the country, I'll be called a sellout. That element is there in our society. But once the collective, the private sector, and as I'm saying, I know that private sector and government are talking as we are talking. The current NDP 10 is actually designed on the basis of the private sector being part and parcel of what drives Botswana. There are talks about that, but we need to speed up if we are not going to just be a consumer and a depository of other people's products.
You have operated or done business in different countries. What are the markets out there looking for?
A very pertinent question. The market is looking for the people who can stand up and go. They're looking for sophistication, which Botswana have. Botswana have got the stand up and go. Botswana are short selling themselves by failing to fuse the humility with the business aggressiveness. We need to get to that. We need to accept ourselves as able, and look at our countries performing so well internationally, the way we handle our economy, the way we run our government, and if you look at the corporate governance of some of our champions and so on, they're a marvel. They are an example for the whole world. We need, these things are run by Botswana, and we need to get them out there and perform. But unfortunately, we short sell ourselves. We must be aggressive. We must get out of here and know that in business, a little bit of aggression, I'm not saying greed, I'm saying aggression, it's welcome in the business industry. If you are successful, you must show your plumage. There's nothing wrong in actually showing, not condescending, but showing that, yes, I've made it in this, and if you have that SL500, drive it to the meeting. I mean, that's basically what Botswana should actually get out and do. Botswana are very sophisticated. Mpule wouldn't have won if we didn't have sophisticated designers. Mpule would have won if we are not a sophisticated people and knew how to walk, carry ourselves, and be smart. Botswana are smart, very smart. We need to start saying, if we send out 1,000 Botswana to Canada, the 800 Botswana that will come back to Botswana will bring business cultures that we need to forge into ours and become a strong force.
Mosienyane, thank you very much for your time.